good evening. Relationships are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives. When a man and woman do not contact each other, whether due to conflict, distance, or hesitation, a silent void begins to grow. It's more than the absence of words or shared experiences, it's the erosion of connection, one of our most fundamental human needs. In that silence, assumptions creep in. We start writing stories in our minds about why they haven't called, what they're thinking, or whether we still matter. These stories often stem from fear and self-doubt, robbing us of the opportunity to bridge the gap. But here's the truth: meaningful connection requires vulnerability. And vulnerability can be terrifying. Reaching out after days, weeks, or even years of no contact feels risky. What if they reject us? What if we say the wrong thing? These questions make avoidance tempting, but avoidance only deepens disconnection. Connection is a fundamental aspect of being human and goes beyond simply interacting with others. It is a deep and intrinsic need rooted in our biology and psychology, shaping who we are and how we experience the world. From the moment we are born, we seek connection with those around us, starting with the bond we form with our caregivers. This connection provides not only physical nourishment, but also emotional security and a sense of belonging. It helps us understand that we are not alone in this vast and often overwhelming world. As we grow, this need for connection evolves and expands. It moves beyond survival and becomes the foundation for our relationships, our sense of identity, and even our mental and emotional well-being. Connection is what allows us to feel seen, heard, and valued by others. It is the feeling of being understood and accepted for who we are at our core. When we experience this, it fosters trust and safety, enabling us to open up and share the most vulnerable parts of ourselves. It is in these moments of genuine connection that we build lasting relationships that enrich our lives and give us purpose. These bonds remind us that we are part of something larger than ourselves, and they bring meaning to our existence. Without connection, life can feel empty and isolating. Studies have shown that loneliness and social isolation can have a profound impact on both our mental and physical health, increasing the risk of depression, anxiety, and even chronic illnesses. This is because as humans, we are wired to thrive in the presence of others. It is through connection that we find support in difficult times, celebrate our joys, and share our burdens. Connection helps us navigate the challenges of life by reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. At its core, connection is about more than just proximity or shared experiences. It is about the quality of the relationships we have and the depth of understanding we cultivate with others. True connection requires effort, empathy, and a willingness to be vulnerable. It asks us to set aside our judgments and preconceptions and to approach others with curiosity and compassion. When we do this, we create spaces where authenticity can flourish and where individuals can feel safe to be themselves. Connection is also a two-way street. It involves not only being seen and understood, but also seeing and understanding others. It is about actively listening, showing genuine interest, and being present in the moment. When we connect with others in this way, we create a ripple effect that strengthens not only our relationships, but also the broader communities we are a part of. Connection fosters empathy and kindness, qualities that are essential for creating a more compassionate and harmonious world. In every aspect of our lives, connection plays a vital role. It shapes our personal relationships, influences our professional success, and impacts our overall sense of happiness and fulfillment. It is the thread that ties us to one another, reminding us that we are all interconnected and that our actions and choices affect those around us. Connection is not a luxury or an added bonus. It is a necessity for a thriving, meaningful life. It is the essence of what it means to be human. The cost of disconnection is profound and far-reaching, affecting not only our emotional well-being, but also our mental and physical health, our relationships, and the overall quality of our lives. When we are disconnected from others, we lose a vital part of what makes us human, the sense of belonging. And connection that gives life its richness and meaning. Disconnection creates a void that can feel heavy and oppressive, leaving us with a deep sense of loneliness and isolation. It is not just the absence of people in our lives, but the absence of meaningful and authentic connections. At its core, disconnection often stems from fear or avoidance. We avoid reaching out to others because we are afraid of being rejected, misunderstood, or judged. We create barriers to protect ourselves from vulnerability, but in doing so, we cut ourselves off from the very relationships that could provide comfort and support. This avoidance may feel like a safeguard, but it comes at a significant cost, as it leaves us isolated in our struggles and disconnected from the empathy and understanding of others. Disconnection also feeds into feelings of self-doubt and inadequacy. When we are not in contact with others, or when our interactions lack depth and authenticity, we may begin to feel unseen and unimportant. This can lead to a negative cycle where we retreat further into ourselves, creating even greater distance from those around us. The stories we tell ourselves in the absence of connection often amplify our insecurities, leaving us stuck in a loop of loneliness and self-criticism. On a larger scale, disconnection has a measurable impact on our mental and physical health. Research shows that prolonged feelings of loneliness and social isolation are linked to an increased risk of depression, anxiety, and even cognitive decline. Disconnection can lead to chronic stress, which negatively affects the body by weakening the immune system, increasing the risk of heart disease, and exacerbating other health conditions. The emotional pain of disconnection often manifests in physical symptoms, highlighting the deep and inseparable link between our social bonds and our overall health. Beyond the personal consequences, disconnection also affects our relationships and communities. When people withdraw from one another due to unresolved conflicts, misunderstandings, or simple neglect, it creates gaps in relationships that can be difficult to repair over time. This distance can erode trust and intimacy, leaving relationships fragile or broken. Disconnection prevents us from experiencing the joy and support that come from being truly known and valued by others. It also diminishes our ability to offer the same to those we care about. In our increasingly digital world, the effects of disconnection can be even more pronounced. While technology allows us to communicate more easily, it often creates an illusion of connection that lacks true depth and substance. Superficial interactions on social media or through brief messages cannot replace the warmth and fulfillment of face-to-face communication, or the deeper understanding that comes from meaningful conversations. This reliance on surface-level interactions can leave us feeling empty and yearning for genuine connection. The cost of disconnection is also societal. When communities are fragmented and people feel isolated, the sense of collective responsibility and empathy diminishes, leading to a breakdown in social cohesion. Disconnection breeds misunderstandings and divisions, making it harder for people to come together to address shared challenges or celebrate common joys. It creates a world where people feel like strangers to one another, even when they share the same spaces. Ultimately, the cost of disconnection is a loss of what it means to be human. It robs us of the opportunity to experience the joy, comfort, and strength that come from authentic relationships. It isolates us in times of struggle and prevents us from sharing in the triumphs of life with others. It diminishes our capacity for empathy and compassion, both for ourselves and for those around us. The absence of connection leaves us navigating the complexities of life alone, when in reality we are meant to thrive together. Avoidance and authenticity represent two vastly different approaches to relationships and communication, and the choice between them shapes the depth and quality of our connections. Avoidance often feels like the easier path away to protect ourselves from discomfort, conflict, or vulnerability. It allows us to sidestep difficult conversations, ignore unresolved issues, and shield ourselves from the risk of rejection or misunderstanding. In the short term, avoidance can offer relief from the fear and anxiety that come with facing hard truths, but over time, it exacts a heavy toll. When we avoid reaching out or addressing challenges in our relationships, we create distance, and uncertainty silence replaces dialogue, and assumptions fill the gaps left by unspoken words. We begin to construct stories about the other person and their intentions, often based on fear or insecurity. Rather than reality, these stories can become barriers preventing us from seeing the situation clearly or understanding the other person's perspective. Avoidance may feel like self-preservation, but it often leads to greater misunderstandings and a deepening sense of disconnection. Avoidance also has a way of compounding problems. Rather than resolving conflicts or addressing issues directly, it allows them to fester beneath the surface. What might have started as a small misunderstanding can grow into resentment or a significant rift over time. Avoidance delays the healing process, and in many cases it prevents healing altogether. It leaves relationships in a state of limbo where neither party feels fully seen or understood. This not only weakens the bond between individuals, but also erodes trust and intimacy. Authenticity, on the other hand, is about showing up fully and honestly in our relationships. It requires courage and a willingness to be vulnerable, because authenticity often involves revealing parts of ourselves that we might prefer to hide. It is about expressing our thoughts, feelings, and needs openly, even when it feels uncomfortable or risky. When we choose authenticity, we create opportunities for genuine connection and mutual understanding. It allows us to build relationships based on trust and truth rather than pretense or avoidance. Authenticity is not about being perfect or having all the answers. It is about being real, admitting when we are wrong, expressing our emotions, and being willing to listen and learn from others. It requires us to step into discomfort and embrace uncertainty, because meaningful connections are rarely built on certainty or control. Authenticity invites us to be present in the moment, to engage with others wholeheartedly, and to prioritize the relationship over the fear of being misunderstood or rejected. Choosing authenticity over avoidance can transform relationships. It opens the door to meaningful dialogue and allows us to address issues directly rather than letting them linger. It fosters deeper understanding because it encourages both parties to share their perspectives and to listen with. Empathy authenticity creates a foundation of trust because it demonstrates a commitment to honesty and a willingness to be vulnerable. It shows the other person that we value the relationship enough to engage fully even when it feels difficult. The choice between avoidance and authenticity is not always easy. Fear and self-doubt can make avoidance feel like the safer option, and societal norms often reinforce the idea that vulnerability is a weakness, but in reality, vulnerability is a strength, and authenticity is a gift we offer both to ourselves and to others. It is through authenticity that we create the kind of relationships that truly nourish us, relationships that are resilient in the face of challenges and rich with understanding and mutual respect. While avoidance may provide a temporary escape from discomfort, it ultimately limits our capacity for connection. It keeps us in a state of emotional distance and prevents us from experiencing the depth and intimacy that come with being truly known. Authenticity, on the other hand, invites us into a space where we can be ourselves and where others can do the same. It is the foundation for relationships that are not only fulfilling but also transformative, allowing us to grow, learn, and thrive together. The power of repair lies in its ability to heal relationships, restore trust, and rebuild connections that may have been strained or broken. Repair is not about erasing the past or pretending that hurt did not occur. It is about acknowledging what went wrong, taking responsibility, and working together. To create a path forward, when we commit to repair, we choose to value the relationship over pride or fear, and we demonstrate a willingness to engage in the messy but meaningful process of reconciliation. Repair begins with recognition. It requires us to see the harm that has been done, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and to acknowledge its impact. This step is often uncomfortable because it forces us to confront our own actions or the ways we may have contributed to the pain or misunderstanding in the relationship. It asks for honesty and humility, and it invites us to step outside of our own perspective to understand the feelings and experiences of the other person. Taking responsibility is a crucial part of the repair process. It involves owning our mistakes and expressing genuine remorse for the hurt we have caused. This is not about self-blame or dwelling in guilt, but about showing the other person that we understand their pain and that we care enough to make amends. A sincere apology can be a powerful act because it communicates respect and empathy, and it creates an opening for dialogue and healing. Repair also requires effort and intentionality. It is not a one-time action, but an ongoing commitment to rebuilding trust and addressing the underlying issues that led to the disconnection in the first place. This might mean having honest conversations, setting new boundaries, or learning to communicate in ways that are more respectful and effective. It is about demonstrating through actions, not just words, that we are dedicated to nurturing and strengthening the relationship. The process of repair is not always linear, and it often takes time. Healing does not happen overnight, and trust, once broken, can take effort and patience to restore. There may be setbacks along the way, moments of doubt or frustration, but the willingness to stay engaged and to keep trying is what ultimately makes repair possible. It is a testament to the strength of the relationship and to the commitment of the individuals involved. One of the most beautiful aspects of repair is its transformative potential. Repairing a relationship does not simply return it to its previous state. It can make it stronger than before when we work through challenges together and navigate the difficult terrain of conflict and reconciliation we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and each other. We learn how to communicate more openly, how to show up more authentically, and how to support one another in meaningful ways. Repair can foster a sense of resilience and intimacy that might not have existed before. Repair also offers us the opportunity to grow as individuals. It asks us to confront our own shortcomings and to take responsibility for our actions. It challenges us to practice empathy, patience, and forgiveness, both for others and for ourselves. Through repair, we learn the importance of vulnerability and the strength that comes from facing difficult emotions rather than avoiding them. It teaches us that mistakes and misunderstandings are not the end of the story, but a chance to learn and to deepen our connections. The power of repair extends beyond individual relationships. It has the potential to strengthen families, communities, and even societies. When we embrace repair, we model the values of accountability, compassion, and reconciliation. We show others that conflict and hurt do not have to result in permanent estrangement or division, but can instead be opportunities for growth and understanding. Repair reminds us of our shared humanity and the importance of coming together even in the face of challenges. Ultimately, repair is an act of love and courage. It is a declaration that the relationship matters, that the bond is worth the effort, and that healing is possible. It is about choosing connection over division and hope over despair. It is a reminder that no relationship is perfect, but with care, commitment, and a willingness to repair, we can create connections that are deeply meaningful. And enduring repair is not just about fixing what is broken, it is about building something even more beautiful in its place. Courage and connection is the willingness to embrace vulnerability and step into the uncertainty of building or rebuilding relationships. It is not the absence of fear, but the determination to act despite it. It requires us to confront our insecurities and doubts, to risk rejection or misunderstanding, and to open ourselves up to the possibility of connection, even when the outcome is uncertain. Courage and connection is a powerful force because it allows us to move beyond the barriers that hold us back from forming deep and meaningful bonds with others. At its heart, courage and connection is about being authentic and present. It means showing up as we are without the masks or defenses we often use to shield ourselves from potential pain. It is about sharing our thoughts, feelings, and experiences openly and honestly, and trusting that we will be met with understanding, or at the very least respect. It takes courage to let others see us for who we truly are, because it exposes us to the risk of judgment or rejection. Yet it is this very openness that creates the foundation for genuine connection. Courage and connection is also about taking the first step especially when there is a gap in a relationship, whether it is reaching out to someone we have lost touch with, initiating a difficult conversation, or apologizing for a mistake. It requires bravery to move beyond our comfort zone and extend ourselves to another person. Fear of being misunderstood or of the effort being unreciprocated can make us hesitate, but courage is what allows us to act in spite of those fears. It is also about staying engaged even when the path is challenging. Relationships are not always easy, and moments of conflict or misunderstanding are inevitable. Courage in connection means choosing to lean into these moments. Rather than withdrawing or avoiding, it means being willing to listen even when it is hard to hear, being willing to speak even when the words are difficult to say, and being willing to stay even when it would be easier to walk away. This kind of courage is what allows relationships to grow and deepen over time. Courage in connection asks us to embrace the discomfort that often comes with vulnerability. When we take the risk to connect, we may feel exposed or uncertain, but it is in these moments of discomfort that true intimacy and understanding can be found. It takes courage to face these feelings into remain present with them rather than retreating into the safety of detachment or indifference. It is a practice that requires patience and resilience, because the rewards of connection are rarely immediate, but they are deeply worthwhile. It also requires a sense of hope and faith in the potential of relationships to bring meaning and fulfillment to our lives, even when we have been hurt or disappointed in the past. Courage in connection invites us to believe that connection is still possible. It asks us to trust that others are capable of meeting us with empathy and care, and to be willing to take the risk of reaching out once more. This hope is not about ignoring the possibility of pain, but about acknowledging that the potential for joy and understanding makes the risk worthwhile. Courage in connection is not limited to moments of personal vulnerability. It also involves standing up for others and advocating for relationships that are rooted in respect and compassion. It means challenging behaviors or dynamics that harm connection and working to create spaces where everyone feels valued and supported. This type of courage helps to build stronger communities and fosters a sense of belonging that extends beyond individual relationships. Courage in connection also recognizes the importance of reciprocity. It is about giving as well as receiving, about offering our time, energy, and care to others while also being open to accepting the same in return. This balance can be difficult to achieve, especially if we fear being a burden or if past experiences have made us wary of trusting others. But courage in connection is about believing in the mutual benefits of relationships and being willing to invest in them fully. It is also about understanding that connection is a dynamic and evolving process. It requires continual effort and engagement, and courage is needed at every stage, whether we are forming new relationships, nurturing existing ones, or mending those that have been damaged. Courage and connection means showing up consistently even when it feels difficult or uncertain, because it is through this ongoing commitment that the true depth and beauty of connection can be realized. In the intricate web of human relationships, connection stands as the most vital thread, weaving meaning and purpose into our lives. Yet it is fragile, vulnerable to the forces of avoidance, disconnection, and fear. Through recognition of its importance, an embrace of vulnerability, and a commitment to repair and authenticity, we find the strength to bridge gaps and heal wounds. The cost of disconnection reminds us of what is at stake, while the courage it takes to reach out is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Repairing relationships is not